Praise the Lord, Alkali's in the kitchen. Praise the Lord, Alkali's in the kitchen. Praise the Lord, Alkali is in the kitchen, and there's no kale here.
Burnt cheesecake. Now, if you've never had this before, this is an insanely simple cheesecake recipe, and it's going to be crustless. In fact, I've tried once doing this 100% gluten-free. It works, but as we're going to show you in a little bit, taking the flour out entirely will leave you with a lot of moisture that will go everywhere. I have tried to use gluten-free flour, and it works. So feel free to replace your flour with a gluten-free substitute. This can be a gluten-free cake. Now let me show you why this is the simplest cake ever. First ingredient, so much cream cheese. This is 4 sticks, that is 2 pounds. 2 whole pounds of cream cheese.
Oh boy.
That's a lot of cheese.
But wait, it gets better.
Now bear in mind, everything that I am using up here, except for the heavy cream, is going to be at room temperature. This cream cheese, all of this has been sitting out for about the last hour to come up to room temperature so that it's a little bit easier to beat. Now the reason we would do that, it's going to mix to a smoother amalgamation, and that's what we want in this one. The key to this one is keeping the batter smooth. So we're going to start it off with our 2 pounds of cream cheese, and here I have pre-sifted 1.5 cups of sugar. Mainly sifted because it is very humid in Chicago, and my ingredients are sticking together.
Oh, so hot, so sticky.
Now the only trick to this is we want to add it in just a little bit at a time, scraping down after the additions, and we're beating this on a medium speed. So we're just going to get all of our sugar incorporated into our mammoth amount of cream cheese, and we're going to try not to eat it with crackers. Sometimes cookies, sometimes with a spoon, once with a straw. Sandra didn't like me catching that. That was a bad day.
Hey, you know, some days you gotta suck sugar and
Some days you gotta eat cream cheese with a straw.
yeah, cream cheese, sugar, whatever it is.
So once again, all we're doing is adding 1.5 cups of sugar into 2 pounds of room temperature cream cheese. Now, as far as room temperature goes, it's not the most important thing. If you need to take this out of your freezer and go, that's fine. But Sandra, can you get the camera in here for a second?
Uh-huh.
The consistency I have here, where it looks this silky already, that is because of room temperature. This would be a little bit chunkier. It would still be mixing into the sugar, but if you keep it like this, if you keep it soft, man, does it take your ingredients nicely. So I've added the sugar in about 4 increments. You can do it a little bit faster, but for me this works. And since I had all the ingredients prepped beforehand because of the camera, it doesn't take that much longer. All right, well that is creaming.
Crazy. Here's
the weirdest part. How to prepare your pan. Now like we said, this is going to be a crustless cheesecake. So your best option is to have a springform pan that's really going to help you out with this. I did it once in a non-springform. It's all going to come down to how you take it out of the pan. You can do this in a non-springform. Highly recommend the springform. This is going to be so wet,
Crazy.
You're going to want to take a good 1/4 of a stick of butter, and you're going to literally butter your pan. This is not going to touch the cake. This is all for release.
Hey, phrase
This
it!
is just how you're going to have to do to get the cake out of your stupid pan. Because nothing is as sad as making a cake and then sitting there sadly eating it with the largest spatula you own because it's stuck to the pan. All right, there. Pan is buttered. All right, now, this is a piece of parchment paper. Lay your paper onto the top of your pan, and then have a conversation with everybody.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
How are you doing? All you want to do is push it in there. Now you're going to have creases. You're not going to cover all the way around, as you can see right here, that's exposed, but the butter is going to help with that. But mainly, put your fingers, bring in the camera.
I am.
Put your fingers into the corner and rise them up. That is how you're going to flatten this thing out and keep the corners crisp.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice.
Pan is ready. The oven has been set to 400 degrees and, oh, it worked.
Nice.
Look how silky smooth our batter is so far.
Yep,
now
nice.
that is why you do things at room temperature. That creates this absolutely velvety mix. All right, so that's a start. It's good. Next. Now, there's a trick to these that you can use to speed up the process a little bit. Let me make sure I'm doing it right, because I've only done this 100 times now, trust myself. Good. Set your mixer to medium. These eggs are also room temperature. Now, it's not going to be a big deal if you leave the eggs out for about an hour. It's not going to hurt anything. I usually don't leave my eggs out. If ever you need to get room temperature egg, take a tall glass, fill it with room temperature tap water, and put the eggs in there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes in a room temperature water bath will give you basically room temperature eggs. Also, as you're doing this, once again, because of the smoothness, one egg at a time. So try to add in a single egg at a time, let it incorporate, wait for that color, that yellow color to disappear, and once that is incorporated, you can add the next egg. I am going to be scraping down the sides of my pan after every 2 eggs. So there's 2. Oh, yes, gloopy mess. Oh.
Want me to show you your mess again?
Phrasing, boom!
Once again, all I'm doing here is scraping down the sides, trying to keep everything so that we don't get any lumps in this when we're done. Lumps are your enemy for this particular cake.
Kink cake? Kink cake?
King cake.
Okay.
All right, and again, 2 eggs at a time, letting them incorporate after each addition.
2 at a time.
2. It's still 1 at a time, but scrape down the bowl after every 2.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you're using a stand mixer like I am, as you can see, the entire spatula is going to the bottom of this bowl. There is a lot of batter in here. You are definitely missing the sides. That's what you want to make sure. Come on, let go.
Gotcha.
Being a jerk. Being a jerk. Gotta make sure you scrape down those sides, or again, when you go to put this in, you're gonna end up with lumpy batter. Do not end up with lumpy batter. Only lumpy space, princess.
Yes.
These lumps, I know you wanna slump up on these lumps.
By the end of this, you won't even have to go to the factory of cheesecake anymore.
There you go. I got a little snap rocket hanging off my eggs here.
Oh, thanks for that visual.
Absolutely.
I love to think of that when I'm making cake.
Here at Cooking with Alkali, we're classy. We're real class holes over here. All right. Now, we're going to let that beat at a medium speed, at a medium-low speed. We're going to let that beat at a medium-low speed, and we're going to get our last ingredient together, and that is the heavy cream. Because, hold on, it tells you where to open these things.
Ah, yes, it is.
See?
Follow directions.
I follow directions.
You rebel.
All right, where are we? It is 2 cups.
Dean's Dairy. Grab your katana.
Oh my god. All right, to this insane mix, we are adding 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, because when we make a cake, we make some healthy shit over here. All right, so we're getting to the end of the mix. Final time, well, not final time, the final time for the eggs. Scrape down the sides of the bowl. Oh, this looks like soup that I would eat. Probably not healthy.
Looks wonderful.
I know. All right, scrape down the sides of the bowl. Then we're gonna add the final ingredients, which is 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Oh no, I threw it away.
What'd you leave it for?
When I was cleaning up for breakfast,
Oh no.
I threw away my salt.
Shit.
That's okay. I've got salt somewhere. Don't know where.
Oh no. I'm sure it's in there.
Found it.
Got it, okay.
Perfect.
Of course you have salt. You're so salty.
I know.
With a little help from our friend sodium chloride.
Okay, that was 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of salt. Normally I use kosher salt, but I had thrown away my kosher salt. I'm using table salt. Not the best, but it works. And at nearly the same time, 2 cups heavy whipping cream and 1/3 cup sifted flour. Now, once again, the flour is to trap the liquid. After this is done, the amount of liquid in here is intense. The flour is going to solidify that as it cools.
You get in there. Okay.
There we go. And once again, you never want to just throw in your ingredients in something that you're trying to mix to be velvety smooth. So I'm just letting everything kind of slowly add. Now let's do the thing that Alkali is horrible at and reread the recipe to make sure we didn't forget anything. Okay, those are most of the ingredients.
You forgot the love. Where's the love?
Xander,
What?
love has left this.
It's love! The secret ingredient is love!
This is a cake for Ricardio.
Ricardio, yes.
Cardio is the love. All right, and one final time. There was flour added in. That flour could be sticking anywhere. Do the best you can. You're not gonna be able to see, because now get in here, Xander.
Okay.
This is how liquidy this batter is going to be.
Okay.
Okay? This is meant to be a wet batter. Do not worry about that. This is correct.
Yep.
And finally,
You can even see it dripping.
the oven has already been preheated to 400 degrees. We're going to take this here into our prepared springform pan,
Wow.
dump it right in, scrape down the sides, get all of this batter, because this cake is not going to rise too much. There's going to be a little bit of a rise, and then after you take it out and let it cool for just about 10 minutes, it's then going to shrink down. So, and again, I have a few parts where the cake is touching the metal. I understand, it's not a problem. And, cut.
Really?
Go away. All right, when we come back, we're going to take the cake out of the oven. We're going to show you how to get it out of the pan, how to let it rest, and we're going to once again finish off the world's easiest cheesecake, aka the burnt cheesecake. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. It has been 1 hour and 5 minutes, so it's done in the oven. We're gonna bring it out, and most importantly, as you bring it out, do not take it out of the spring form right away. You need to let it deflate. If you take it out now, it's actually going to expand and almost flatten. This way it'll just dip in the middle because it's still gonna have the side of the pan to hold on to. Here we go. Oh. As you can see, bring the camera over.
Ooh.
See how it's still jiggling?
Yep.
That is what you want. This thing should still be jiggling a bit.
Ooh.
Very carefully. Take it out. and leave it to rest for a good, I'd say 20 minutes. Let that deflate. Then we're going to make a simple cut around the sides, anywhere that there's exposed pan, which is right there, and a little bit over here. So once that deflates, we'll cut around the sides, and we're gonna move it to our tray. We'll be back once we get to that step. All right, it's been about 10-15 minutes since we took this thing out, and as you can plainly see, it has deflated, and this is what you're waiting for. The top has pulled away from all the edges, so you don't need to worry about taking it out of the pan. So the first thing we're gonna do is release our springform very carefully. There we go.
And what kind of springform is that? That's really cool.
It is a 10-inch springform.
Cool.
Okay, now, this is where you want to be careful. So we're going to get it off of the bottom of the springform pan because my springform pan has little lips and we don't want anything as we slide under it to catch. So the easiest way I found of doing that is find your final tray, which I'm using my grandmother's old pie tin because, I don't know, and do a simple, be careful as you pull the paper away. Some places might stick. There we go. Mainly it's where the paper creased, which does give it that really cool rustic look. However, kind of a pain because the paper can't pull it away. All right, now we're going to get between the springform and the cake itself, which I've just done, and very carefully
Nice.
remove the springform. Okay, the paper. Don't worry about removing the paper until it is significantly more cool. You will be able to pull this paper out from underneath it, but if you do it while it's too warm, basically anywhere above room temperature, you're going to start to pull the cake away. Now, right now, leaving it like this is going to help us decorate it anyway, so don't worry about that. We'll put it in the middle of our tray. We're going to leave that until basically right before it's ready to serve, which is room temperature, which is about an hour. Do not serve this one piping hot. Right now, this is a cream cheese custard cake. It is delicious, but if you cut into it now, the moisture is going to start to go out. You kind of want to give this one some time to really take everything, let the flour do its job, and make this more of a cheesecake. If you're into a cream cheese custard, which I am, go ahead and cut into it now. You're going to get an amazing piece of cake, but it will start to leak out on you. Wait an hour and serve it.
I'm still rolling. This is all evidence. Stop. You're never gonna stop. Oh God, I need to stop.